Wow, that's so cool. You've been listening to Jean and Tovas Porvas, who will return in the middle of tonight's program and also at the end. Oh, thank you guys so much for setting the scene for this program. We did it. We're all here. We made it. It's kind of perfect. Thank you guys. I wanted to identify the co-hosts tonight. Sayed Naimi is one, and Wakil is one, Rahmana is one, and my brother Frank is one. So that's the team that we're trying to put the show together with. For 60 years, I have been forgetful every minute, but not for 1 second has this flowing toward me stopped or slowed. I deserve nothing. Today I recognize that I am the guest the mystics talk about. I play this living music for my host. Everything today is for the host. So yeah, it's Rumi's 813th birthday today. Yay, he's looking good for 813. We're going to have a program that's about an hour long, and then there's an optional after party section. If people aren't full yet, they can stick around and just hang out, do some more poems and answer questions or whatever comes up. I wanted to share another poem. I don't want learning or dignity or respectability. I want this music and this dawn and the warmth of your cheek against mine. The grief armies assemble, but I'm not going with them. This is how it always is when I finish a poem. A great silence overcomes me, and I wonder why I ever thought to use language. Cool. So yeah, I would like to introduce Izat Gushagir, excuse me. She's our first presenter. Azat is a fiction writer and playwright born in Iran and living in the United States since 1986. She teaches at DePaul University since 2003, and we met at a Boise Rumi Night 5 years ago today, actually, where her sharing of Rumi's poetry thrilled the room.
Yeah. Hello to everyone. I actually chose two poems, one in English and one in Farsi, which are the concept of both poems are about dancing. So the reason I use this because I wanted to get some more energy for everybody. We need energy. We are so separated in this difficult time. So we need to somehow get together. We need to shape our body, our soul, our spirits, and everything with the rhythm of these poems, which are very much like, makes you dance. So it also gives us the pleasure. So the quality of these two poems that I'm going to read, it connect us in a larger kind of situation, I can say, and it helps us to have our inner and outer peace together. Rumi says, in order to understand the dance, one must be still. And in order to truly understand stillness, one must dance. So I felt that we are kind of in a situation that everything is kind of being still. The poem in English is a translation by Coleman Barks, but first I'm going to read the Persian part. آمد بهار جانها ای شاخ تر به رقص آ چون یوسف اندر آمد مصر و شکر به رقص آ ای شاه عشق پرور مانند شیر مادر ای شیر جوش در رو جان پدر به رقص آ چوگان زلف دیدی چون گوی در رسیدی از پا و سر بریدی بی پا و سر به رقص آ تیغی به دست خونی آمد مرا که چونی گفتم بیا که خیر است گفتا نه شر به رقص آ از عشق تاجداران در چرخ او چو باران ای جان قبا چه باشد ای خوش کمر به رقص آ ای مست هست گشته بر تو فنا نبشته رقع فنا رسیده بحر سفر به رقص آ در دست جام باده آمد بتم پیاده گر نیستی تو ماده زان شاه نر به رقص آ پایان جنگ آمد آواز چنگ آمد یوسف ز چاه آمد ای بی هنر به رقص آ. تا چند وعده باشد وین سر به سجده باشد، هجرم ببرده باشد دنگ و اثر به رقص آ. کی باشد آن زمانی گوید مرا فلانی، کی بی خبر فنا شو ای با خبر به رقص آ. طاووس ما درآید وان رنگ ها برآید، با مرغ جان سرآید بی بال و پر به رقص آ. کور و کران عالم دید از مسیح مرهم، گفته مسیح مریم کی کور و کر به رقص آ. مخدوم شمس دین است تبریز رشک چین است، اندر بهار حسنش شاخ و شجر به رقص آ. It's a very very hopeful poem. It just gives you lots of hope to just come out from your space and go out and dance with everything around you. So, and then I'm going to read a poem which translated by Coleman Bark. It's just an excerpt of a longer poem. Dance. Dance when you are broken open. Dance if you have torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you are peacefully or perfectly free. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's really fun to hear in Farsi, to hear the rhymes at the end of the lines, because all of this poetry rhymes in Farsi. And it's just beautiful to hear it rolling along. We have the good fortune to have Brenna Olivier here to sing R.A. Nicholson's translation of The Song of the Reed.
Thank you, Howard. It's lovely to be here with all of you. So, like Howard said, this is a version of Rumi's Reed song set to music by John Ferdowsi Wyrick. Hearken to this reed forlorn, crying ere since was torn from its rushy bed, a strain of impassioned love and pain. The secret of my song, though near, none can see and none can hear. Oh, for a friend who knows the sign, who'll mingle all their soul with mine. 'Tis the flame of love that fires me, 'tis the wine of love inspires me. Do you know how lovers bleed? Hearken, hearken to the reed. Somebody else just came up. Somebody hearkened to the call.
You're still muted.
That works better. This is the last book that Nicholson ever wrote or published of Rumi's poems. And it was written in about 1945. Shortly before he died. It was first published in 1950. And it tickles me that at the very end of his life, he was playing with some rhyming versions like that of Rumi's poetry. Well, I have the good fortune now to introduce Sayed. Sayed Naimi was born in Iran and has lived in the United States since 1976. Among the many strings in his bow, he is a co-creator of the Boise Rumi program. We met at the very first Boise Rumi Night and began an amazing collaborative journey. Sayed, please.
Thank you, Howard. Hello, everyone. So when Howard sent me the agenda for tonight, I noticed that I was going to read the same poem that Helen is going to be singing next. So I thought that was a very interesting coincidence. And as usual, you know, Rumi arranges things for a good reason. So I was happy that I had picked this poem. So the poem I'm going to read the English version first and then the Persian, and then I'm going to translate the Persian. So this, I'm sure if you had anything to do with Rumi, you've come across this at least once, if not 100 times. So out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. This, of course, is the Colin Barks version. Now let me read you the two lines that are the Persian equivalent of this. از کفر و ز اسلام برون صحرایی است، ما را به میان آن فضا سودایی است. عارف چو بدان رسید سر را بنهد، نه کفر و نه اسلام و نه آنجا جایی است. So if you translate this more literally, it would be beyond the realm of infidelity and Islam. There's a meadow, there's a place. For us, there's an understanding in the middle of that space. The word Sodai can be translated into different things. It could be a business transaction, an agreement, an understanding, or it could be passion. It could be depending on how it's written. So as most of Rumi's poem, there's always an argument about what did he really mean. So even the very experts argue about the meanings of these poems. But I've picked here the idea that there's an understanding, there's this exchange that we have this agreement on that happens in this space. So beyond the realm of infidelity in Islam, there is this meadow where we have an agreement, an understanding in this place. And when the mystic lays his head there, now again, in the Persian poem, there is no his or her, it's without the gender identification, but unfortunately I had to put one down. So when the mystic lay their head there, then there's no infidelity, no Islam, and no place there. Now, one thing that is interesting here, when it says that when the mystic lays his head down there, there's a deeper meaning of letting go of thought. In other words, you lay down your head, you let go of your thought, you let go of what would be judgment, the duality of things that you have gotten used to. So laying your head down, in letting go of the judgment and duality, when you do that, everything disappears, including the place itself. So it's kind of a description of enlightenment by Rumi. This place is where you lose things that you have here in your mind. So this is going back to one's origin, kind of an unbiased experiencing of our being without judgment. We are back at the source where the meanings we have given to all different things disappear. Rumi says, I was raw, then cooked, then burned. Most of us may have experienced the stage of going from raw to cooked through what we normally refer to as love. Love is the way that the Sufi way that cooks us. But to get fully burned, we need to even forget about love. In the place where we are back to the origin, nothing exists. Na kufru, na islamu, na onja, jaist. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sayed. As he mentioned, Helen Rubart is the woman who connected me with Rumi many years ago. Moms are wonderful for such service. Mom. Yeah, if we can get Helen Rubart up, that would be great.
Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there.
Thank you so much. I really like doing this poem in the two right next to each other. It came out kind of perfect. So thank you, Rumi, for lining that up for us. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Divya now. And Divya is often the youngest presenter at the Rumi Nights in Boise. And she started when she was, I think, 9. And it's been wonderful. She's presented at most of the Rumi Nights for the last, whatever that is, 4 years, I guess. So please, Divya.
Phrase your question. Why doesn't a soul fly when it hears the call? Fish on the beach always move towards waves sound. Falcon hears the drum and brings the quarry home. Why is not every dervish dancing in the sun? You have escaped the cage. Your wings are stretched out. Now fly. You've slept in sheds and outbuildings so long that you think you live there. How many years, like children, do we have to collect sticks and broken pieces of pottery and pretend that they are valuable? Leave childhood. Go to the banquet of true human beings. Split open the cultural mold. Put your head up out of the sack. Hold this book in the air with your right hand. Are you old enough to know right from left? The voice says your clarity. Walk. Move into the moment of your death. Learn some discipline there. To the soul, move into the invisible and take what's given. You are the king. Raise your question and expect an answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I love how he's so vibrant with his language and how he talks. You know, do you know your life left from right? He's like mocking me anyway. Oh, that's so fun. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Taj now. Yeah, Taj and I met at the December 17th Rumi Night in 2014. And we like to talk about it because it was at a very specific spot in the room, and we both remembered the conversation we had there. So she's presented at basically every possible Rumi Night she could since then. I'm very, very happy with how this has all gone and what great friends we are now. Thank you, Taj.
Thank you, Howard, and thank you, Divya, for that lovely poem. Part of my spiritual practice uses the phrase, I am not the body, I am not even the mind. And then Rumi says it so eloquently here from this book. When a man is busy in earnest, he is unconscious of his pain. I mention this insensibility to pain so you may know how much the body resembles a garment. Go, seek the one who wears it. Don't kiss a piece of cloth.
Thank you. That's so lovely. The ocarina is so fun at the end of the poems. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our amazing musicians tonight, John and Tovas. They arrived in the United States and Boise in the summer of 2016 with their young daughter from Konya, Turkey. So that's where Rumi is entombed. They're music instructors looking to share their talents and rich musical history. John and Tovas began presenting at Rumi Nights in Boise as soon as they arrived, and continued to generously share with us until they relocated to Vancouver, Washington last year. And now they get to rejoin us because of the good side of all this social distancing. It's so much fun to listen to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is John's newest CD, the Yar Kapisi. Kapisi?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Beloved's door.
Beloved Soul.
Door.
Cool. Yeah. I'd like to introduce Mariam Baker now. Mariam presents internationally on many topics, including Rumi, turning, and Sufism. Since the beginning of Boise Rumi Nights, we've longed for a chance to have her come to present in Boise. She graciously presented at the inaugural Zoomi Rumi Night in May and has returned tonight. She joins us from her Northern California home with her husband, Nizamuddin.
Howard, I just lost all of you for a moment. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you and see you, yeah.
Somehow I can't see any of you.
Yikes.
Let's see. Astaghfirullah. Sorry about that, everybody. Shucks. Well, my question to all of us, here I go. And I'm wearing, not in quite the right way, my Iraqiya, my teaching hat. So, yeah. We've talked about dance. We've talked about moving. We've talked about the body. Do we really want to do that tonight? Yes? Okay. Then please, everybody, let's stand up. Let's get up. And once we're standing, let us take, let's see if I can show you my whole self. Whoops, the wrong way. Darn it. Let's take our left and embrace the heart. Let it travel and just gently touch beyond the shoulder. Okay, now we're going to take the right arm and do the same thing. We are going to take the feet, and I actually have some teaching aids here, 2 little feet. And with our feet, let the big toe of the right foot gently rest on the big toe of the left foot. Okay. And now we're almost in a beginning position. What we want to do now is very gently let the head move and rest tenderly towards the physical heart. And you might have seen drawings or photos of the whirling dervishes resting this way before they begin the great dance of Sema, and also at the closure often of a Sema or of a time of dance and turning and music. Okay, so let's start out with moving in the 4 directions. We've talked about the universe. We come, and I'll talk about it, we come whirling out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. We make a circle, and in the center, the stars dance with us. So what we're going to do, we're going to be moving in the 4 directions. Whirling dervishes usually turn to the left, symbolizing the return journey to the beloved, to unity, to essential nature. How we're going to do this, we're going to move 1 quarter turn to the left as we say Allah. As we say Allah, we all know this is a name of God. And in our circle tonight, how we're going to use this Allah is we're going to look to the all as the yes of polarity and the la as the no. And what we want to work with is what Rumi so often talks to us as mystics about. And that's the mystery that lives between the all and the la, between the yes and the no. So here we go. taking a quarter turn to the left. Allah. Now again, Allah. 4 directions to the back. Allah. And side. Allah. Center. Allah. Side. To the back. Side. Center, everyone. 4 directions, returning the universe of our own heart, our own body, our own soul journey. Allah. 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 Now giving, receiving, right hand, Allah, and heart. Allah. Heart to the back. Allah. Heart. Allah. Heart. I'll do it to the center so we can all see. Giving, receiving. Giving, receiving. Here we go. Allah. 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 Let's go a little faster. Allah. 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 Center. Allah. Allah. Giving, receiving for our bodies, hearts, and souls. Allah. Entering mystery as we turn around this universe, the Kaaba of the heart. Allah. 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 Both hands. Allah. 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 Both hands, giving, receiving. Allah. Allah. Begin to find your own speed. Now we're going to let the palms of the hands rest in the center of the breast, the heart. We're going to move them downwards towards the earth. Keep turning. Let go. And now our hands, our arms coming up. Stretching up, up, stretching. Now we're going to turn the head to the left. We open the right palm and we allow the left palm to drop gently towards the earth. And our head is turned towards that, symbolizing turning towards our purpose and towards the beloved. Okay. Let's come back into this position once more, and then we'll turn with it. Above the crown, we come down. You can imagine coming down through, if you've ever done yoga or are familiar with that body mudra, through the central chakra system and letting go. And now inhaling up, refreshing the body, stretching up, stretching, stretching, turning head left, opening the palm to the right, and let's begin turning again. Now we are receiving love through the right palm, and we let our purpose, be it music, poetry, teaching, whatever our purpose is, we take this moment to plant it and bless it in the spirit of Rumi, in the spirit of love. Here we go. Find your own pace. Turning, turning. We heard dancing even in our blood. Dancing. This great reality, hak dost, of being human. Hak dost. then slowly we come to rest again, like folding the wings, our wings, around the heart, where we can imagine closing petals of a rose. Again, we let the head rest very gently down towards the physical heart. We breathe deeply. This mystery of love, beyond right and wrong, beyond black and white, beyond yes and no. What lives there? Love, peace, beauty. Et voilà. Amen. So thank you everyone for standing up and moving a little bit with me. I think that's 5 minutes, Howard. I'm not sure though.
I said, awesome. It's perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Mariam.
And I'll bow to each of you saying, Hak dost. Thank you.
True friend, the true friend, with the big capital F. This is Mariam's newest book, Sacred Voices, Stories from the Caravan of Women. It's got amazing drawings in it by another whirling dervish. I don't know if you can see them. They're really cool. Mariam got to turn in a sema in Konya at Rumi's tomb area, that's pretty cool.
It was very amazing. Actually twice, once out in the courtyard before it was reworked. That was in 1994. The museum and the darga itself are somewhat reworked. And then an amazing moment when we did turn inside, where those original dervishes with Sultan Ahmed, Rumi's son, who began the Sema in honor of Rumi, would have turned. And the musicians in a little balcony above. So, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. What a delight to be here with all of you. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Mariam, truly. I like Sayed pointed out at a Rumi night that the name Allah it's not a different God. It's an Arabic word that the Christians in Saudi Arabia use Allah also. And I love that all does mean yes and La does mean no. So when Mariam was saying about the yes and the no, it's actually literally that. See, I'd like to introduce my friend Bismillah. I met Bismillah in a Zoom Mesnavi reading class we've taken together for the last several years. We became close friends when she drove up to Boise from Arizona for the total eclipse in 2017. That was a very special day. We got to hang out.
Thank you, Mariam, for also getting us awake and for allowing us to feel the one within our bodies. Sometimes that's very hard. And thank you, Howard, for the both introduction, for doing this, and for the yes-no. And perhaps as we focused on our bodies this time, this will help us just as we focused beyond while we were moving bodies. This may remind us. On that fateful day, when my casket rolls along, do not think my heart is in this world. Do not cry. not cry with anguished moans, for that is a pit a demon has dug, and only that is sad. When you see my procession, don't cry, gone, gone. For me, it is a time of meeting and reunion. As you lower me into the grave, don't say, so long. The grave is a veil before the gathering of paradise. When you see that lowering down, consider a rising. What harm is there in the setting of a sun or moon? What seems a setting to you is a dawning. Though it may seem a prison, this vault releases the soul. What seed goes into the earth and does not grow? Why are you doubting this human seed? What bucket goes down and does not come up full? Why should the Joseph of the Spirit resent the well? Shut your mouth on this side and open it beyond, for in the nowhere air will be your song.
Thank you so much, Bismillah. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my Frank Olivier, who's my brother in so many senses of the word. Frank is a comedian, juggler, magician, and performs an amazing keynote, Tricks to Happiness. Frank's learning of Rumi poems, even pretty long ones, by heart, inspired me to give it a try as well. What do you have for us tonight?
A short one. Or actually, I've got a few little things that have been bubbling up, partly inspired by the meeting here. One that I saw on the outhouse at Lama, written on the wall at Lama Institute in New Mexico, where I met this sweet lady. That was a good time.
Not at the outhouse.
No, I should clarify that. Thank you so much. I said, if you cannot offer your heartfelt, sincere prayers, then offer your empty, agnostic ones. For God, in his mercy, accepts bad coin. That was one. And then a few years later, when we were getting married, this one was on our wedding invitations. It's just a section of a poem, but I've always really, really liked it. For years, I guarded the pearl of my soul. Now, in this ocean of purling currents, I've lost track of which was mine. And then one other one I wanted to share was, this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if there are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Greet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Thank you so much. Yeah. The one about the purling currents and the scarcity of love, that was one of the biggest Sufi teachings for me, is that love is abundant. And that poem is a beautiful illustration of that. Well, I want to introduce the final presenter of the night, Michelle Tay. Yeah. Matei is a leader in the Boise Buddhist community and has presented at multiple Rumi Night events. Welcome, Matei.
Well, I feel so full. What a feast of love and joy and wisdom and delight. I'm just so full. And I wanted to read a poem also that I've found, and which is likely familiar to you all, one of Rumi's poems. And then I'd like to invite the bell and have a few words as we bring this time that we are together to a close. Worry not from a clear heart, like the polished glass of innocence. The innocent mirror contains all, unashamed. For this clarity, see yourself shamelessly. This is truth. As a glass shines bright with polish, so the heart's mirror will shine. The deeper you look, between the glass and the heart, there are only secrets. In your face, fraud and fantasy reflected. In the garden of your expressions, your eyes, lies bewilderment. Are there thorns or blossoms in the nature of the world? Your darting flight, does it find refreshment or traps? The garden of the world has no limits except in your mind. Its presence is more beautiful than the stars, with more clarity than the polished mirror of your heart. In the Buddhist tradition, the sound of the bell is the voice of the Buddha. And for this evening, the sound of the bell is also the voice of Rumi, sounding through our hearts and every cell of our body, and hopefully extending outward, 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 to embrace our beautiful earth and all its beings, all her beings. Listen, listen, the sound of the bell calls us home. Thank you, dear friends.
Thank you. It's wonderful. Yeah, let's give it over to Frank.
Thank you. I'm remembering all of a sudden I was supposed to thank people and do something, and I don't have what that was going to be completely eluded me. That was a very, very beautiful program, and I am completely delighted that there's people this far and wide who also think that doing this and getting together like this is a good idea, because this isn't something for everyone. Something quite wonderful for us, those who are fed by this. And, can you remind me of what else I was supposed to do here, Howard?
Yeah. To thank the co-hosts and presenters, and to encourage people to take a moment and share their experience and feedback with us.
Oh yes,
on the little forum.
On the forum, on the chat.
Is it on the chat, Yakio?
Is there a forum or a forum?
Not sure.
There's a link to a Google document.
There's a link to a Google document in the chat, and if you can go and drop in and fill that out, that would be fantastic. It would help us with the holding of this, with a few questions that are there. Love to get your feedback on this program. Would like to thank I'm not going to be able to do so by name because I don't have them in front of me, I don't think.
Co-host.
The co-hosts. I could actually maybe pull it up here. It'll tell me who the co-hosts are. No.
Well,
Ayad, Naomi.
co-hosts and presenters.
Yes.
Frank is one. Rahmana is one.
Yes.
Keel is one. And, I think that's it. There's 5. I'm one.
Frank, you're getting very close to the field where you forget everything, so it's great.
Yes, when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about.
Yeah,
Do you have the link for John and Tovas's CD?
That's a good question.
And for Mariam's book, if you each have those, you can drop those in the chat.
That sounds really good. Yeah, and I wanted to mention that we're going to have an after party once this program closes, that if people want to hang around and hear another poem or two or have questions, what have you, that would be great. So yeah.
You still have the Oracle, right?
Yes, that's
yes.
a great thing to do there. Yeah.
Oracle meeting.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for an amazing, wonderful Rumi night. We didn't really
And many more.
Oh, man.
So yeah, Sayed, would you like to do an oracle? That would be great.
So maybe someone could pick a number from 1 to 90.
21.
21? Do you have a question already?
Oh, it's about what is happening in this world right now. It's just an understanding about what we're going through.
Okay. The poem is, Would You Bow? If your friend rose inside you, would you bow? Would you wonder where that one came from and how? If you say, I will bow, that's important. If your answer, but can I be sure? It will keep the meeting from happening. As busy people rush there and back here murmuring, now I know. No, I don't know now. Have you seen a camel with his eyes covered turn and walk one way, then another? Be silent and revolve with no will. Don't raise your hand to ask anything. Holy One, sitting in the body's well like Joseph, a rope is there in front of you. Lift your hand to that. A blind man has bought you for 18 counterfeit coins. Empty metal cups banged together, and the full moon slides out of hiding. Make one sound, please. You are the precious hyacinths that the sickle will spare, not the wheat plant Adam ate. I remind you with these poems to dress in the flowers of God's qualities, not your torn robe of self-accusations.
Awesome. It's fun to have a, yeah. I'm sorry, Yaya, did you want to chime in? You need to,
I just want to say that it's like, it reminded me of bowing to also to the fire, to the fires in the West, and to the fires that have destroyed in so many people's homes, and bowing to Trump. So thank you. I really appreciated that.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. The oracle is a thing that happens in Persia a lot. They usually use Hafiz instead, but we kind of borrow it and do it with Rumi. And there's been some amazing times where someone thinks of their question, chooses a poem, or randomly just, and then we read whatever the poem is. We have time to do another one.
Anybody has a question?
86 is in the chat.
Oh, there's a lot in the chat.
I wrote 86.
Oh, page 6?
86.
Oh, 86. 86. Okay, Premda, 86. Would you like to share what your question is?
I don't really have a question other than just about deepening the heart, deepening in the heart.
Okay. So, Master Rumi, tell us about deepening in the heart. I met one traveling. In the evening between sleep and awakening, I met one traveling. He was the light of consciousness. His body was soul, his pure wisdom apparent in his beautiful face. He praises me for a while, then scolds. You sit on the seven sky throne in prison. The sign of Gemini has set a table for you, yet you stick your head down a drain hole again. Essence is not nourished with food and sleep. Do no one any harm in this time field of short crops, where what you sow comes back up very quickly. You try to accomplish things, to win, to reach goals. This is not the true situation. Put the whole world in ambition's stomach. It is never be enough. Assume you get everything you want. Assume you have it now. What's the point? The next moment, you die. Friend, the youth you have lived is ending. You sleep a drunken, dreamless sleep with no sense what morning you could wake inside.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I would like to share one that came up for me while we were doing all the poems that came up tonight. Let me see if I can get to it. Here it is. It's called Wean Yourself. Little by little, wean yourself. This is the gist of what I have to say. From an embryo whose nourishment comes in the blood, move to an infant drinking milk, to a child on solid food, to a searcher after wisdom, to a hunter of more invisible game. Think of how it is to have a conversation with an embryo. You might say, the world outside is vast and intricate. There are wheat fields and mountain passes and orchards in bloom. At night, there are millions of galaxies. And in sunlight, the beauty of friends dancing at a wedding. You ask the embryo why he or she stays cooped up in the dark with eyes closed. Listen to the answer. There is no other world. I only know what I've experienced. Thank you. Yeah. Does someone else have a poem they'd like to share? Or comments or what have you? Well,
I have one that if nobody else has one,
go for it.
it's one that's just really been speaking to me a lot lately in working with the breath in a lot of different ways. And I've come to a point of at times with breathing in, meditating on that being that first breath of the first being, and that it's the kiss of spirit. And for some reason, this poem speaks to that for me, and to always being born into that first moment. This is some kiss we want. There is some kiss we want with our whole lives. The touch of spirit on the body. Seawater begs the pearl to break its shell. And the lily, how passionately it needs some wild darling. At night, I open the window and I ask the moon to come and press its face against mine. Breathe into me. Close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't use the door, only the window.
Yeah, that's a wonderful poem. And Coleman Barks, in one of his books, has a little bit of an explanation of that. One of the ways you can interpret it is that close the language door. This is the language door. And open the love window, which is the eye. Yeah, the moon won't use the door. It's one of the places where he's just saying, silence is better. Yeah, well, I do have a ghazal that I'd like to share. It's interesting, this style of poem, it has something repetitive in it. The name of it is If You Distance Yourself. If you distance yourself for only an hour from your endless thoughts, what do you think will happen? If you let yourself sink just like a fish into the ocean of our love, what do you think will happen? You are merely a piece of straw, and we are that eternal amber. If you leap forth from your lowly house to fuse with the amber, what do you think will happen? 100 times you promise yourself to depart from self-claim, to be humble as the earth. For only for once, if you keep your word, what do you think will happen? You're a precious hidden diamond sunken in the mud. If you wash away all that impurity from your gorgeous face, what do you think will happen? If you abandon for a little while your ego and greed, tear down your shield, rise with a quest to unite with the divine, what do you think will happen? That's one I like recently. Sayed, do you want to do another oracle?
Sure.
Great.
Need a volunteer to give me a page number.
How about page number 9?
Page number 9. And do you have a question you want to share?
Yeah, this is Mukita Megan in Portland, and I want to ask about what are some helpful ways that we can keep connected to our hearts, to the truth, to our purpose during this rocky time, even just in the political world.
Thank you.
Number 9. I don't know, why is everybody interested in the times and political stuff? Is something going on? I don't know. The mirror between us. The mirror between us is breath. The mirror between us is breath mist when I speak. Your face is water. I reach, the work grows muddy. Even friend and beloved are wrong words for this. Even awe retreats back into my mouth. The same if the moon's behind cloud or being released. A pure silent look is better. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I think the end especially, to me, it speaks to the essential, like keeping to the essential sweetness that's available to keep centered and focused, for keeping for me and hopefully others, keeping our energy in the right places. So thank you.
If you take a piece of wood and burn it, it's not the wood that burns. It's not the essence of the wood. It's all the chemicals and gases trapped with the essence of the wood. So when it's all done, what remains, that little ash that is there, grows another tree when it's mixed with soil again. So sometime what we go through, as painful and as changing as it might be, our essence is not harmed. We're always who we are inside, and no one can touch that and damage that.
Thank you, Sayed. When we have the Rumi nights in Boise, we get to have tea and dessert and conversation at the end. And it's been really fun to meet. We'll have up to a quarter of the audience will be Persian, and everyone likes to meet and talk and go, oh, this is okay. This version is okay too.
I had one poem that I was hoping that somebody would pick that page, but nobody did.
What was your
So,
question?
My question is, always guidance. I try to just listen and despite my own mind always making stuff up. But this one is called Daring Enough to Finish. So, Master Rumi, what can I do? What should I do? Face that light, my face. You spin intelligence into these particles I am. Your wind shivers my tree. My mouth tastes sweet with your name in it. You make my dance daring enough to finish. No more timidity. Let fruit fall and wind turn my roots up in the air. Done with patient waiting. So if you see me dancing naked in the streets tomorrow on the news, that's me.
Awesome.
It's a good thing.
Reminds me of the one, your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Expecting the worst, you look, and instead, here's the joyful face you've been longing to see. Your hand opens and closes. Opens and closes. If it were always a fist or always stretched open, you'd be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in each small contracting and expanding. The two as beautifully coordinated and balanced as bird wings.
Awesome. Such bright images. I like how he can anchor a whole poem around just a couple little words. Yeah. Well, this is pretty cool. I have one that I can share that's it's called A Small Green Island. And this has something to do with today, these days. It says, there is a small green island where one white cow lives alone. A meadow of an island. The cow grazes until nightfall, full and fat. But during the night she panics and grows thin as a single hair. What will I eat tomorrow? There's nothing left. By dawn, the grass has grown up again, waist high. The cow starts eating, and by dark, the meadow is clipped short. She's full of strength and energy, but she panics in the dark, as before, and grows abnormally thin overnight. The cow does this over and over, and this is all she does. She never thinks, this meadow has never failed to grow back. What should I be afraid of every night that it won't? The cow is the bodily soul. The island field is this world, where that grows lean with fear and fat with blessing. Lean and fat. White cow, don't make yourself miserable with what is to come or not to come.
I was just thinking you're referring to us, all white cows waiting for November 3rd.
There you go.
That is the.
That's fun.
I'm
Maybe
thinking
I
of
was.
one other poem, very, very short, one line from Rumi that was, I don't know why it just percolated up now, but another one on counterfeit. There would be no counterfeit gold if there weren't real gold somewhere.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and important.
Is John still with us for?
Whoa, that's a good question. Yeah, it'd be great to have a little more music. Oh,
there we go.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Are answered.
Okay, we have one more song from Maulana. So you say it if you like. You can just translate some of the poem. آمدم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna. If you want to talk about that, then we can play the song.
I don't know. I can't recall the full thing, but maybe after you sing it, I could talk about it.
آمدم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم. ور تو بگوییم که نی شکرم شکر برم.
I'm coming. آمدم که سر برم. آمدم.
I
came to. I'm going to say to lose my head and take the love, your love, into my head, into my heart.
ور تو بگویم که نی شکرم شکر.
But so I could tell you no. Nay means no, but also means flute. So I would bring the flute. Nay shakar means the reed flute, because the sugar reed, and I would bring the reed flute, so I could take sugar from you. So I'm here to fall in love and take sugar from you. That's what this song is.
آمدم که سر نهم آمدم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
آمدم که سر نهم آمدم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
ورته بگویم که ورته بگویم که نی شکنم شکر برم نی شکنم شکر برم نی شکنم شکر برم نی شکنم شکر برم آمدیم که سر نهم
آمدم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
دوست نشسته در نظر من به کجا نظر کنم دوست گرفته شهر کجا سفر برم من به کجا سفر برم من به کجا سفر برم من به کجا سفر برم
آمدیم پسر نهم آمدیم پسر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
آمدیم پسر نهم آمدیم پسر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
Hey, 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 hey,
این گزلم جواب آه که دست پیشم این گزلم جواب آه که دست پیشم وقت نمیخونی پیش کسی نگر پیش کسی نگر آمدم که سر نهم
آمدیم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم آمدیم که سر نهم آمدیم که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم عشق تو را به سر برم
عشق تو را به سر برم
Awesome.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, Howard, for leading us in this great night.
You're welcome. It's a delight.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
indeed. Thanks. All right, folks. Well, until next time, I guess.
Until next time.